How was your approach? What made you even get in the movie industry? Like, let's talk about the movie business.
I care about how I'm representing my people on this screen. I care about the people who spend $1 with me, but I want to make sure if they spend that $1 with me, they feel like they got at least 3 back. And then I remember the pandemic came and the world was closed. It was 2 things. Am I gonna go get this Bitcoin, or am I gonna, you know what I'm saying, do these movies? Or am I just gonna chill and wait this out?
What's some biggest mistakes you should look out for if you're doing movies right now in 2025?
It has to work or it has to work.
Welcome to Circle of Greatness. I'm your host, Nehemiah Davis, and today, man, I got a Philly legend on the show. I'm talking about executive producer, author, entrepreneur, and somebody I look up to because he made it out, man. It's very hard to come from where we come from and make it out and play it at the next level. So my guy, Rich Coleman, what's up, bro?
Oh man, I like that interview, that intro.
You already know, man. Gotta do it, man. So for me, bro, I know you're a movie guy, right? So I look at my Instagram like stories, like not story. I look at Instagram like that's my TV. I don't watch as many shows and movies, so
right.
I'll go watch your stories. You be having the dots. You film the whole. I be watching from the boats to the cars to the travel to the lifestyle, bro. How do it feel to know, coming from where we come from to actually get out? It's hard to get out.
It's super hard, man. It's a blessing. I give all praises to God first and foremost. You know what I mean? But it's a super blessing. It's not easy, and I don't take that lightly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So, bro, you now got you on the third trilogy. You on the trilogy.
Yeah, we dropped part 3. It's almost been a year now.
I've been to part 3 in Atlanta at this Fly Delta Museum or something like that.
Yes.
About to drop a book, like, bro. Before we jump into the movies, what was your first start of entrepreneurship? I know your kids, y'all got a brand with them. Y'all been doing this for a minute, and I know you and wifey is a team, but we got you out here today.
No, it's all good. No, my first taste of entrepreneurship came from my father. My father, he had a big business back in Philly, a big tow truck business that did really, really well. And he was big in the city, and he taught me the ropes, and he put that entrepreneurial spirit up in me. Pause, you know what I mean? Let me know, just seeing him and seeing the money he was making and the work that he had to put in to build something from something small to so big just really excited me, and I was really interested in that.
What age was that where you like, I need to be like my pops? Like,
I would say about 16, 17, getting ready to come out of high school, not really knowing I'm not really college material.
Yeah.
That wasn't the route for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody who worked out for it, but I knew that wasn't my plan. I knew that wasn't where God wanted me at. And just seeing how my dad made it look, you know what I mean? And at that time, he definitely was my hero. So being able to see that made me say, you know what? This is what I want to do. This is how I want to live my life.
Yeah. Did you grow up, mom and dad was together?
No. Actually, I never really knew my dad, my biological dad.
Gotcha.
And, I come from the West Philly, you know what I mean? Not an easy hood,
West
you would
Philly
know
too.
that personally, you know what I mean? So, coming up, I never knew my dad, and it wasn't a big deal. It was a big deal, but also not a big deal because everybody I knew didn't know they dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it might
It's
have been
normal.
it might have been like one dad in the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a situation where I felt like I was missing out. I knew it was a void, you know what I'm saying? And hearing stories, back in the day, stories and all that. So I knew I was missing something, but I didn't really feel like I was missing out too much.
How did you, in this kind of fast forward, man, amazing father to 2 young men that's doing their thing, how did you learn to even be a great dad? And I guess you've been with your queen since I was watching the stories one day, like used to wait out on the steps and all of that. And just became a great man, became a great parent? Like how did you learn to do that? Because it's hard to see great husbands, great men nowadays. Like examples, I would guess.
You know what? For me, it was, I knew what I didn't want to be. You know what I'm saying? So I started there. I didn't have no real examples to tell me, this is how a man should be. Yeah. But I also know how a man shouldn't. I had a lot of examples on how a man shouldn't. Yeah. You know what I mean? Especially with the guy my mom was dating at the time. I knew I never wanted to be like him. You know what I'm saying? There's no way possible I'm ever going to be that. I knew from early on, I've been with my wife since I was 14. Yeah. But even before that, I knew when it was my turn to be a father, I was going to be the best father ever. I wasn't going to miss anything. I was going to do whatever I needed to do to make sure that I was the person that I needed.
Yeah, that's fire, bro. How important is it, bro, having, that right wife, bro? Because I had this thing on my wall in my grandma's house. I'm on 52nd and Wyalusing.
Right.
And it says marrying the right person or whoever you're with will determine 90% of your happiness and your misery. And I look at your stories, I'm like, that's a happy relationship. That's love being together, love. How did you know she was the one? Because there's a lot of people now. Luckily for us, you, me, we were with our people when it wasn't about no paper.
Right.
Nowadays, how do somebody know if it's the one? I guess, you know what I mean? Like, how are you figuring that out in these times where it seemed like it's all about the bread now?
You know what? It's not even something you're going to be able to dictate.
Yeah.
It's not even going to be something that you can run away from. When you find that one, is you just going to is it. You can't, even if you're like, I don't even want it's that feeling going to send you right back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, having that right one as for mines was detrimental. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I know. It's not even like, you didn't need a crystal ball to see it. If I didn't have my wife, I know I'd be either dead or doing so many years in jail that you probably never see me again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just because of what I grew up around, like who I was and what she's done for me. Like, even in my father's business, I'm his son, right? I remember, I never forget this. This is one of the things that shot me up in my entrepreneur situation was, I'm my dad's son. He's making money hand over fist. You know what I mean? All his wreck chases, like in Philly, let me give a little backstory. Yeah. So that in Philly, where we from, it was either two ways you made money. It was what we call money. Yeah. It was either drug dealing or you were a wreck chaser. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people didn't know. They think your tow truck driver is this guy coming in overalls, may make $60 for the tow. They don't know of one accident. If it's a Homer, we might make $10,000. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Get a couple few of them a week. Yeah. You roll it. You know what I'm saying?
Money too. Was Lou Blum available back then? Lou Blum, was they out there?
Yeah, but they wasn't wreck chasers. They were more like take your car while you're parking. This is a whole different game. You know,
I was just asking because they've been around a long time.
100%. But back to your question, he had the shop. So, my dad run the shop. I would take the people back and forth to the lawyer. You know what I mean? So most of the time, if there's no people, I don't have nothing to do. Yeah. So I'm in there shooting dice, you know what I mean, with the other wreck chasers, doing whatever. And these guys are big on the toll. I'm the low guy on the towing pole, but I'm the owner's son. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, I never forget my wife came. She was in college at the time. She went to Temple. I went into the business working with my pop. So she came to me and she was around and she spent the day with me, seeing how, I'm thinking I'm showing out. She playing dice, showing her like, the owner's son, look what's going on. And she pulled me to the side and she said, "You happy with this?" Hit me in my gut a little bit, like, what you mean? I'm happy. You happy with this? Is that, you're around all these millionaires and you're happy with just making some crumbs and running, you know what I mean? Hold on, baby. You know what I mean? That's been But it stuck with me, and I'll never forget. The next day, it was a truck in the shop because one of my pop workers was sick and didn't come get his truck. And I said, you know what? I already knew the game because riding with my dad, I would listen to the scanners and tell him when accidents were. So I'm really like one of the best because I've been doing this for years, honestly. just with my dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I seen the truck, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take the truck tonight. And I took the truck. I'm beating my dad to the hits.
Yeah.
You know, my dad is a hustler by nature. You know what I mean? He see that.
Yeah.
Next day I had my own truck and I was on. You know what I mean? Never looked back. But just from that simple conversation that she saw that I wasn't even.
Yeah.
I didn't even
Living
have
up to
that
your
vision.
full potential. Yeah.
Yeah. And she checked me on that, and that started what changed my life.
Yeah. Bro, that's so powerful. Just I think for me, my wife, she been with me now. We've been together like 15 to 16 years. And it was just, it felt good when you know somebody ain't with you for an ulterior motive, bro.
Facts.
Like I'm telling you, to know that I'm watching people now is like, yeah, she with you just for some paper, bro. Like it's just, I feel good. 100%. I could X that off the whole list.
100%.
So I just be trying to get gain to people. I'm like, bro, you gotta be careful out here. Like you gotta know what you're looking for. You just gotta be on top of your game.
Right. No, you got to. And you gotta understand, especially for entrepreneurs out here who building up their brand and building up their success. You know, a lot of billionaires most of the time lose their money. Like I heard something earlier, most billionaires lose their money. The money that they do lose is through marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Jeff Bezos had to pay his ex-wife $37 billion. Amazon ain't losing 37 goddamn billion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you know, picking that wrong partner hurts you. If you're not right, you gotta keep your eyes open and remember that you are a brand as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if something like that happens and you got the wrong partner, that could tear down everything you spent years on building.
Yeah.
So
what are y'all doing now to keep things new, fresh, right? Like just on the relationship piece, after being with somebody since 14, what's some things you like, yo, let's keep us going. Let's keep us fresh. I hear some people say we date every week. We do certain things like that.
You know what, for me, man, I date my wife every day. It's not a date. Like, I know it sounds, let me take my glasses off. I know I keep my glasses on for my anxiety, but now I'm a little bit more comfortable, you know what I mean? But I date my wife every day. Yeah. And I do that because, it's a lot going on. Yeah. It's a lot she has going on. It's a lot that I have going on. So if we can have dinner every day, sit across from each other, she doesn't have to worry about preparing it, you know what I mean, serving it, or I don't have to worry about preparing it, serving it. Everything's 50-50 where we in my household, you know what I'm saying? It's nobody above the other. So if she don't have to worry about preparing it, I don't have to worry about preparing it, then we can sit across from each other and have a conversation about what we got going on, where we see what we got going on, and just everyday life. Yeah. Just every aspect of life affects what we do as a business. If my household ain't cool, it affects what I'm doing as a businessman. If my kids aren't good, it affects what I'm doing as a businessman. Yeah. So for us to be able to talk, always be on the same page, we don't do like we got this thing that we have that we don't do anything without 2 thumbs up. Like if I be wanting to do stuff and sometimes I'm ready to jump out the window. Yeah. A business idea can't jump out the window. She's more analytical. She thinks about the things and talks to me. So if I don't have her thumbs up, I won't do it. Yeah. She doesn't have mine. She won't do it. And that's how we've been able to move, and it works for us.
Yeah, that's good. I like that formula. Cause me, I just be going.
I let her know how it goes. We hustle. We hunters, man. We hunters. We go out and hunt. We gotta bring it back to the house. You know what I mean? But sometimes it's a better way to hunt. You know what I mean? Yeah. We ain't got to be on there making arrows with the stones. You know what I mean? She might know a better way for us.
Bro, I saw Secret Society 1, excuse me. And this is before I knew y'all as the owners. I'm like, damn, that joint look crazy. Whatever one was in Miami or something. That joint look crazy. I'm like, y'all caught me off at the beginning when somebody was.
We lined y'all up at the beginning.
Standing up. I said, y'all caught me off guard. But when I looked at it, bro, I'm like, yo, they had to spend like so many millions to get. It just looked to me like it was like the highest that you can go. Right. And I was so impressed. I'm like, when I learned that these people from Philly and they out here playing it in the movie business, doing it at a high level, the production is crazy. Right. And that was your first movie?
First movie.
How did y'all hit it off to play a high level? Like I did my first movie. I talked to you about it. I'm like, this is an indie Tubi joint.
No, I got
You're
you.
joint straight movie theater type quality and level. So how did you, because I'm curious of what was the approach for the first one to be like out of here versus dabbling, not knowing if let's make this kind of low budget because this is our first one. For me, I looked at it like, oh, that crap was A1.
Right.
How was your approach? What made you even get in the movie industry? Like, let's talk about the movie business.
Yeah, well, to the first part of it, my approach was just giving a fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I speak on that now a lot more. And I just did, like I was telling you before we got on, that I touched on that on my story. And not just with the movie, every aspect of my life, every business, I'm trying my best to just give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to my wife, if I give a fuck, I care about what she's telling me. I can listen to it. I can hear it and accept it and run with it. Take that same situation into the movie business. I care about how I'm representing my people on this screen. You know what I'm saying? I care about the people who spend $1 with me that I don't know how many hours they put in at their job to work for that $1.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure if they spend that $1 with me, they feel like they got at least 3 back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how much I give a fuck about my customer. You know what I mean? I give a fuck about the product that I'm putting out. You know what I mean? So that way, when the next Rich is coming up after me, that and they in that room, that's why I wear the big chain. I don't change who I am, you know what I'm saying? I don't cower when I'm in the room. So when they come up after me, they can be they self.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Long as they put in that work and did what they were supposed to do, they can come in there and be they self and command that room and move around that room the way they supposed to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not feel like they giving something or begging for some scraps out of that room. No, they deserve everything they supposed to have. And if I can help make that journey a little easier by just doing my best right now, then that's what I want to do.
Yeah, that authenticity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I could definitely see how authentic you are. Like, just be yourself in every room you're gonna be in. I think that's a big key.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you can't be yourself, that ain't the room for you.
Yo, I've had the privilege to help hundreds and hundreds of people all around the world open up their own profitable event spaces utilizing my signature formula. Number 1, how to find a space. Number 2, how to fund the space and how to automate the space. I've been in Atlanta, Georgia now living for 2 years. My spaces are still in Philadelphia operating, doing extremely well because we use the same exact formula that I break down, right? If you're interested in learning how we can help you, I want you to go to eventsspacesecrets.com, watch a training or book a call with our team to see if you are a good fit. Again, this is for you specifically if you're looking for other ways to leverage your money and turn that into other streams of income, right? I don't believe there's a better time than right now for you to get tapped into the information in the game that can help you. So again, go to eventsspacesecrets.com, watch the training or book a call with our team to see if you're a good fit for this opportunity. Let's go. So when y'all first mapped it out, what made y'all say y'all gonna get in the movies though? Like, what was the thought process between you and your wife?
Everybody think now that, the secret societies took off, man. They international, we getting praised internationally for them, but a lot of people think it was like overnight. And they don't understand the grind that we put in. Like, my wife is an author, signed with Simon & Schuster with 10 books out. You know what I mean? But that didn't happen overnight. You know what I mean? Like, and then we went from books to plays, then to movies. You know what I mean? It's been a whole road and it's always been like hurdles. You got to get they gonna come. You know what I mean? You just got to adjust, move, and go with them. Like, even when she got signed, like, she had interest back then. It was, I keep it 100. It was Terry Woods who was popping back then. Yeah. You know what I mean?
She used to write the books, right?
You write the books, and she from Philly. She from I could touch her, I could see it. You know what I mean? So she showed interest in my wife early on in her books, and for us, like, that was like Terry Woods. You know what I mean? So basically, she showed interest. She wanted to sign my wife. And they went on and dragged out the contract to the point where we were asking, my wife was excited, we were asking her, we were talking, and we were just asking just because we're starting to tell people. So we just want to make sure it's real. Can we sign anything? You know what I mean? Make sure that it's real. So she put her off. Was like, well, write another one. Let me see that just not a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Wife hurried up, run another one. Another book. She had 2 books now, and they still was dragging her feet. So she happened to reach out to the keynote speaker at her graduation and was like, hey, which happened to be an author, and just telling her the situation. And the keynote speaker, Karen Quinonez Miller, amazing author, friend to this day, said, you know what? And it was like 3 days before Christmas.
Yeah.
Now knowing what I know now, I wasn't in the business then, but knowing what I know now, December 1st, everything shuts down. No business gets done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
noted.
You know what I'm saying?
Got it in my brain now. December 1st shut down.
But Liza, her agent, which is still our agent to this day, you know what I mean, hit her back and was like, she tells us now, like she planned to read a couple chapters and just be like, hey, Karen, I did it. Nothing comes from it. But she ended up reading it on, it was like a Thursday. On Friday, Liza called her. She had 3 of the biggest major publishing houses having a bidding war for my wife's first book. But right before that, we were supposed to go to New York to actually do the contract. And this was a time where, you know what I mean, we were excited to go sign, do all this. So Liza is doing all this in the mix. We still don't know what the number is she wants to sign for. We don't know anything about this business. All I know is I'm going to New York. You know, I'm from Philly. We going to New York. I got, I'm chasing, so I'm making some money. Yeah. I'm putting $10,000 in my mink pocket. We going shopping when we get up there. You know what I'm saying? That's what I know after the deal, to celebrate with my wife. I'm excited for her, you know? This is a dream of hers. This has been a dream since she was a kid, you know? So I'm just there mainly for the support. So we get the call, and Liza has the 3 major publishing houses. It was Simon & Schuster, Harper. It was the 3 biggest in the U.S. So she calls us and she says she's going to reach out to Terry to put her in it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because we don't have anything signed.
Yep.
Let's add her and see what we can do. Well, she calls Terry up and she tells her that the offer was $10,000 that she was going to offer her. Now, we never knew this. Now, I'm coming to New York with that to spend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
and not only did she want to sign her for the book, but she wanted to sign her, take the book, the movie rights, and everything. So if we would have did that deal, you would have never seen Secret Society by Miyasha.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You would have seen, it would have been by Terry Woods, or if it ever would have got that far. So, you know what I mean? So thank God Liza came in at the time she did, but she told her, thank you for your offer, but I'm sure we're going to do a lot better. Long story short, by the time the bidding war was done that day, my wife was signed to a 6-figure deal. She had Miyasha month at Simon & Schuster, where no other author got published that month because of that came later because of the marketing, but she got a 6-figure deal. But that just go to show how, you know, everybody think you never know what can happen along that road. So stay in there and stay with it.
And that's funny you said, like, you know, I did look at it like that's crazy, but it was years of work. That 10 books being written, not a joke. That's some effort, right? Just putting it in there. So,
and not just being written, you got to market them.
100%.
You got to market. That's kind of where I came into play. My wife is a monster. She puts it out. But my biggest thing as far as business is marketing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you would never know. Like, I remember back then, man, I used to rap like Maseratis was like the craziest car back then. You know what I'm saying? I would rap Maseratis with a book. They thought I was crazy. They thought I was nuts. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. They thought I was nuts. I would come up to Simon & Schuster, you know, they would want me in a marketing meeting once they seen. Because back then, before she got signed, like, you go to a book party, it might be 30 people reading chapters of the book. You might get some snapping, some clapping. You know what I mean? Real neo soul vibe, which is a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? But I was like, nah. You know what I mean? My dad had just started switching into boxing. He was like a big boxing promoter. He would do these crazy events.
He's still alive?
In Philly, yeah. So I was like, nah, I'm turning. If we gonna do it, we gonna turn it to the max. You know what I mean? Because you never know how many shots we get. You know, so my biggest superpower is my arrogance of not knowing. You know what I mean? I have the arrogance of not knowing. I don't know that this is normally how it's supposed to be done. So I only see it the way I see it. You know what I mean? And that might become because I got a touch of ADD or whatever it is they diagnosed me with in the 5th grade or whatever it is, but I use it as my power. It could be my crutch or my power.
Yeah.
I choose power. So I don't care. I don't even care how it's normally done. I want to do it like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when they came, we had some of the editors at Simon and Schuster, the big editors, come for the book party. I invited them out. I told them it's going to be a big deal, XYZ, and they told me they hear that all the time, but they were interested because they felt my energy with it, and they heard some of the things I've been doing leading up. Man, we had like 3,000 people, man. They lined up. Back then the spot was, I forget the down by Dave and Buster's on Delaware Avenue, the hibachi spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you see it on the water. It's all glad. 3,000 people lined up, and she's signing all night. Yeah. You know what I mean? My poor wife signing all night. But they saw that. And since then, now they want me at the marketing meetings. You know what I mean? They want me doing things. That's when Wendy Williams was out on the radio. I had my jeweler. I would have at big parties in Philly. I would have the naked body paint girls come through. That was early on at the time. Yeah, I had them come through. And nobody seen it like that with her whole book cover on the front. You know what I mean? Pull up the line of exotic cars up with the book wrapped all on it. It was just different. And what happened was the owner of Barnes and Nobles was taking the bus and seeing the car pull up. Called Simon and Schuster and say, yo, what is going on out here? Yeah. You know what I mean? And got on them. And from then on there, they made me Asha month. No other female author books was released in the month of July by her.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
So, yeah.
Are them books nowadays, because I don't be hearing people, maybe I'm out of it, but I remember back in the day, you got Zane and just these.
Shout out to Zane.
Is that still a market nowadays? Is this still a big market? Like when you're 3,000 people, that's a lot of. And that was with no social media. Right, that was no Instagram, no.
It's outside TikTok, with the
flyers. My playing the let out.
Yeah, let laugh at me. I'll go pull up a $100,000 car and I'm passing out flyers. They used to laugh at me, but you know what I mean. I knew that if this was what we wanted, and then especially for her, you know what I mean? This was her dream her whole life. Who am I not to back her when she's backed me my entire life? Yeah. So that's really good. The energy.
What are y'all doing now? Like now that the landscape is changing, we not outside with flyers. What are y'all doing now in the market movies? Tell me about it now. Yeah.
Now you ain't got to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and try to catch rush hour with them going to work. You know, right now I really I take advantage of the ads, Instagram ads, the TikTok ads. I have a marketing firm. Yeah. Shout out to the icing agency, Skittles and the icing agency. People, that's my people's, man. She holds me down. And what's crazy is, you know, I started with my clothing line and just meeting Skittles through that because she was in that space. Yep, I remember. But when she got in that marketing space, you know, I already knew how she was coming, and I knew she could talk my language because, you know, that's been my thing with marketing and doing it a different way and getting maximum results with the least amount of money. Yeah. You know what I mean? Good. So, you know, I've been able to do that, and we've done some huge things, especially in this movie space. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Bro, I remember just calling you, bro, and you gave me one play about, I said, yo, we're about to do the movie, and you literally said exactly what to do with Prime, then take it here. I'm like, man, when I bring my next movie, I'm like, you gave me the game on that. Like, my whole cost of my movie, you're gonna be paid off one of them plays that you gave me.
Right, so, right. No, it's all good, man. That's what I grew up in an era where we always had OGs, you know what I mean? And would always give me advice. And thank God for that advice. You know what I'm saying? Between my OGs and my beautiful wife, I was able to make something of myself. Yeah. And they never charged me $1. Yeah. So my way of paying it forward is anybody who comes to me with advice, asking for advice that I may know something about. Yeah. You know what I mean? I try to just give it to you. You know what I mean? Hopefully you can find some value in it and run with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if not, I try to point. If I don't know, I try to point you in the right direction. Maybe somebody who owes me a favor or two that'll help you out for that favor.
That's powerful. What's some biggest mistakes you should look out for if you're doing movies right now in 2025? What's some things you should be looking out for?
Wrong team. Wrong team. Yeah. You're only as strong as your team. Yeah. I know I know my answer. Sometimes they want to get it is more
No, it's cool.
You know what I mean, complex answer, but it's the truth. I can only get the truth, and your team can mess you up for real. They can eat up the budget on you. They can run you up, and if they only care about the money and not the project, they're looking for ways to see where they can get over. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure you align yourself with some people who really care. They care about their career just as much as they care about what the project. I like to have people who care about what they got going on too. That's why I hire people like, oh, okay, it don't matter who it is. It could be my PA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I got a PA. I laugh a guy, Kamal, who worked for me on my first movie. And I'm the type, I'll be out there with the PAs, you know what I mean? Because I learned from her early on, from rec chasing. Most of my money came because I got police paid off, I got doctors paid off, I got people in the hospital, the guy at the front door who checks the people into the hospital paid off. So when all these other chasers can't get in the hospital, hey, you come in, come on, and I'm right in the room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Doing what I need to do. So that's where I feel the most comfortable at too. So I'm down there with the PAs, even though I'm the executive producer, and normally them guys is in their own trailer. You don't even see them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm out there with the PAs. We having lunch, whatever, talking. And I also try to show, like, I brought that up to say, like, it was a guy, come on, he wanted to be a director one day. He's a PA. All right, you ain't a PA no more. I'll get somebody else to do that. And now you're my director's assistant. Now you right there in pocket with Jamal Hill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You can look at a ton of movies, Jamal, but you never know what that kid
He got a
now
crazy catalog.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now he's right up under him.
Yeah.
And he's going off to do other things to the point where I couldn't even get him for my second movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a beautiful thing. So I try to
Uplift people
and pay it forward any chance I get.
Yeah, bro, powerful, man. I appreciate you coming on, Rich. Let the people know how they what you got coming up and how they could connect with you.
All right. You can always check out the movies. secretsociety.com. Miasha.com has everything of what we got going on. You find her, you find everything.
Any new movies coming out?
Yeah, man. We working on a series, actually. Big series, you know. Hopefully, you know, I'm putting it out there.
Good.
You know what I mean?
Series or movie right now? What do you think is better for series or movie, money-wise?
Money-wise movie.
Okay.
I'm going to get that out there. Series going to cost you, it's going to take way longer and cost you way more, you know. And with a movie, I know how to get the money where I don't need Hollywood. I don't need XYZ. I'm directing my people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Direct my people. I got a situation with Amazon. Shout out Amazon. And I got my system.
Yeah.
You know, so I can always make money with a movie as long as I market it right and I'm giving people a great quality. That's the number one thing. Before you think about anything else, if you're in business, worry about your product. You know what I mean? Dope sell itself.
Yeah.
You
they
know?
say that good dope sell itself.
Good dope sell itself. You know what I'm saying? That's with any business. That's just not no street term. That's with any business.
The product.
Yeah. So work on your craft, work on perfecting your product and getting it out there. Yeah.
Let me ask you this too. Influencers, bro. So when I was trying to shoot the movie, a lot of people, essentially they didn't want to all do it at what we had for a budget because they're like, yo, I could just go do some skits. Like, how are you passing a vision for them to want to do it if the budget is less than what they may normally demand? Like, just say if an actor need $100K and I'm like, yo, we got 30 for, like, how are you convincing somebody to actually want to do your movie if it's not on budget in terms of what they want?
You know what? For me, what really works is just having a real life conversation with them. You know what I'm saying? Same way I would talk to you. Listen, and being honest, I don't have it. You know, a lot of times where we come from, I don't have it, you know, you don't like to say that, you know what I mean? It hurts your pride, but we coming like, listen, I don't have it, but I remember having to have this conversation, like my DP, you know what I mean? My man, to this day, we working on like a big series, like 5 million an episode type series. Yeah, crazy. You know what I'm saying? And
5 million an episode.
And this is what he does regularly. Like he talks like that. Like I don't even want to like this is what I do. And like if he was here, this is how he talks to you. This is what I do. We going 5 million. I ain't got time for no play. That's how he talk. Like he coming like that. So we working on something now. But with my first movie, of course, I didn't have the money to pay him what he got paid. You know what I'm saying? And this is how we even got into the movies, because of COVID. You know what I mean? Before that, we've been trying to get in the movies, been knocking on Hollywood door, been closed, then things would fall off, people would run away with the money, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And that's why I say your team. You know what I mean? It got to a point I didn't even want to touch movies. They done spoiled it so much for me. It was a dream of mine to always want to do movies, but I call them the Freddy Kruegers. They kill your dreams. You know what I'm saying? Was killing the dream to the point where it's like, this is what it is. This is not even a ballpark I want to play in. I'm a man. I believe in meaning what I say, you know what I mean, and saying what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if this is the playground for this ain't even for me. You know what I mean? They had me on that. And then I remember the pandemic came and the world was closed. Never seen nothing like this in my life.
Crazy.
The world was closed.
Literally, bro.
You know what I mean? I had me a nice little stash. I'm thinking, man, it was two things. Am I gonna go get this Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Or am I gonna, you know what I'm saying, do these movies? Or am I just gonna chill and wait this out?
Wait it out. Yeah.
So it was three. And I talked with my wife, and you know, her favorite thing to get me to do something is don't be afraid to do something. Don't be afraid to leave something good to do something great. You know what I'm saying? So she was on me, and you know, and I already had the sour taste in my mouth, but I said, you know what, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this our way. You know what I'm saying? With our money. I'm not asking nobody for nothing. I was tired of asking, you know what I'm saying? With our money, and we're gonna make this work and figure it out how we do it. You know what I mean? Because once we jump. We in the air.
Outside.
You know what I'm saying? It's up. There's no, like I
no
ain't really
looking back.
won for no losses. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. Whatever we doing, that's what we doing.
Yeah.
So she was with it while I was with it, and we got to it, but like we was getting blessed the whole way. It's a pandemic. I'm thinking it's the worst thing. It's actually the best thing ever. I'm getting people that I would have probably never been able to get. Like I said, my DP, he does like Blackish, big movie, like big things. I'm able to get them, and I didn't have the money for them. Yeah. So when I said the conversation, it went to the point where it was like I just had to have a conversation with him. I said, listen, I know I don't have the money to pay you, but I promise you that you normally get. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely paying them, but I don't have the money that you normally get.
You casting a vision.
Right. But I promise you this. You're gonna have a ball while you here.
Yep.
I'm gonna put you up right. I'm gonna make sure you straight. You ain't gonna want anything.
Yeah.
And I promise you, when you see what we do, I'm gonna treat your name with the utmost respect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're gonna be proud of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the thing I can do is make sure I don't mess up your name.
Yeah, that's powerful.
And that's important to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know what my name means to me.
Yeah.
So if you rock with me, I promise you, I got you.
Yeah.
And he did, and been down with me ever since. The only time I can't get him is if it's a check he can't turn down and he tied up busy, and he's still trying to figure out how or he put me with somebody as good. Or whatever. So I really respect that relationship, and that all just came from a conversation and doing what I said I would do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So that's part of why that movie looks so good.
Yeah. The team, man. The team.
Hey, that thing
I ain't never shot no movie. You see it, how, you know what I mean? The team, man.
You know, my pastor, Darius Daniel, says you don't go as far as the dream, you go as far as the team.
Exactly.
Everything is around
that's strong.
The right team. Yeah, bro. He
hit that one because that's sure the truth.
Yeah, bro. So, man, thank you, bro, for coming on, bro. Thanks for sharing your insight, your story. I'm looking forward to the upcoming book. I'm looking forward to the upcoming movie series and just continuing to build y'all universe out here.
Yeah. So, but before I go, let me shout that book out, man. Y'all check it out. We putting it together now. The team's working on it. I'm working on it. But it's gonna be called the Power of Giving a Fuck. Yeah. Like, that's serious, man. Make sure y'all out here giving a fuck about what y'all doing, what y'all got going on, and the person that y'all want to be.
Yeah. That's a fact, y'all. So make sure y'all check it out. I know I'm going to be one of the first to buy a copy. Make sure y'all got it. Make sure y'all go to Secret Society right now. Go watch it on all streaming platforms. Go to Miyasha.com.
Yeah, Miyasha.com.
And y'all can see everything that they got going on, y'all. Look, I watched all three of the movies. So go ahead and sit back, get you some popcorn, and we'll see you guys on the next show, y'all. Peace.